Hey everybody, Jim from Jim's COLEUUS. I really wanted to get out, as I had mentioned in my short yesterday. I was planning on getting outside, bringing out my COLEUUS out on my table, potting up as many as I can. But the weather is nasty. Actually, a little lull here. We got a little rain before, but it's like in the upper 50s, mid 50s, but it's very raw. It's certainly not weather where I would want to stand outside and pot up COLEUUS, but I am in my greenhouse. It's a little warmer in here. It's about 65. I have the heater off. We'll put the heater back on shortly, but I did manage to pot up a few. So just to give you guys some ideas, I have the time today, and they really need to get potted to grow. They're in nursery pots, but they're not going to really be at their potential. They're not going to reach their potential growth by being in these little nursery pots. I mean, they can only go so far here. And my end game really is to get them into pots, let the roots take hold, and then we can move on, trim more, start to fertilize with some liquid fertilizer, and that's when, and then hopefully by then we'll be complaining that it's too hot here in New Jersey. It's 90 and everything else. So, but anyway, as you can see, I love frogs. Frogs are like my favorite. They're the best. I got a couple of hanging frogs in the back there, you can see. So I love frogs. It just it makes it that much more enjoyable to come in here and to relax. So I did manage to pot up, as I had mentioned, I did manage to pot up a few. By no means as many as I would when I'm outside, when I have my awning set up and the table set up and I have everything kind of out there organized. It's how I've been doing it for years. But anyway, so here's another video. Some really nice growth here. I wanted to show them. I just can't help but show them off. And hopefully, if you're following along and you're growing them along with me, it'll give you some ideas what you can do with them on a small scale. Whether you grew, a dozen or a half dozen for yourself or whatever, different pots, some ideas, and just to see what's going on upstairs here. So again, as always, enough chit chat. Let's go and take a look at these beautiful, beautiful COLEUUS. And stay tuned. I will, once I get out, when the weather starts to behave and I can get them out on the table and I have the pots, the larger pots where I can really look at everything and organize pots. And I still have my rootings in the house where I have to bring out. And I'm going to get to that. I'm going to shoot a video on that because there's a few things you need to look out on when you plant rootings outside, and we'll get to that. It's another video, so stay tuned. Lots more to come on that. All right, so let's go take a look at these beautiful COLEUUS, show you some of the pots I did today, and just look, they look fabulous. And it's good because later on in a couple more weeks we'll show you how they've grown and some of the things that I've done to make them look the best that they can. So all right, so let's go take a look, everybody. Well, you guys sure are welcome here. That was terrible. That's why I'm not on the stage. Okay, so Mr. Froggy is hanging with me and his cousin, Hank, and Alvin. They're twins. Anyway, I managed to pot up probably maybe 8 or 10. Here's one I did. Just to give you an idea of, they're more of like a purple. These are Kong reds, but they got like a purple, dark purple mixed in. So I have these purple, little purple pots. So I put 2 of them in here. You can argue we could keep 1 in there, but 2. Let's take this down, get a little better view. Miracle Grow moisture control potting mix. I get these at the dollar store. And just kind of match them up with the color of the pot, and fertilize, a little shake and feed fertilizer. Again, all those products will be in the video, in the link in the video. When you first open up, you'll see shopping, and you'll take you to where you can find them. But this is a real beautiful Kong red, but very unusual. I'm going to show you what a regular Kong red looks like. Okay, let's see. I hope it's not too washed out here. But again, this is another reason why I really enjoy growing coleus, because every year there's always some surprise. And actually, this is the first time this has ever happened, where I got Kong Reds, which look normal, more like this. This is like an Empire. This is a Kong Red. And they're generally a brighter green. But as you can see, I got a number of them like this down here. Aside from these, but I got about 6, 8 that happen to grow like this. You see that nice, a little different. And these are going to be nice full plants. So these, I really need to get these into larger planters. These Kongs, Empires, Kong Reds, Rose, Kong Rose, Scarlets for some, they all are large broadleaf coleus, and if you put them in a big pot, they're going to generally really grow large like this here. Here's an example, and this is a photo you've seen a number of times, but this is what you can expect with these, which is why I grow so many of them, because they just make the statement. They just are so just wonderful, wonderful coleus. Those also as well. There's a Jade and a Kong Red. That's really the typical Kong Red. Has the lighter green, a little bit of white and black and red, and these are a mutation. And that's what, again, what's so exciting about coleus. All right, so you know what? This is the overwintered, that wizard jitters mixture that I've been saying. This is the original, and I took about 5 or 6 cuttings, and there they are repotted. And here's another cutting that I took that's done fabulously. And this is one of those ceramic pots that I got from that artisan in Point Pleasant, and this is just so healthy. And just I just can't help but think it's only May, and we have the whole summer and fall. I can imagine what this monster is going to look like. And I'm not selling this. This is for me. This is mine. So here you go. Here's the hanging basket I did. There's a Jade, that cherry, black cherry, and a Jitters. This is like almost like a Chipotle. It's got really stringy red and purple with green. And sometimes, actually I have one I'm going to show you, but these can mutate and get like a really hot pink fuchsia. And I get them every year, a mutation from the Jitters seeds. And I was lucky, again, if you remember from my earlier videos, I sold out all my Jitters seeds like an idiot and didn't save any for myself. But luckily I have plenty, I have enough here that I will be able to get seeds for myself. Let's take a look at that other Jitters with the Chipotle Jitters with the pink. Okay, here you are. And you can see it's actually mixed in with this other, and this one here I'll put this in a hanging basket as well. See, it's got real slender, it has more like a wizard rose, but it's got that slender leaf action going. So we're going to keep an eye on this, but this looks pretty much like similar to ones I've had in the past that had that really thin Jitters leaf with the wizard rose kind of color. So we'll see how this develops. Okay, so again, I'm not gonna be spending hours and hours in here, but I did want to get some potted, but you can see I like to get these really bright beautiful wizard rose and so forth. I wanted to get these potted, and I love these fluted plastic pots. I got them from Dollar General, but I haven't seen any lately. I've been to about 3 different Dollar General stores, so unless they come out again, I don't know. But I have about a dozen left here. I just drilled holes in them, but I've had them for years. I've sold hundreds of them. I think I had mentioned I bought like 200 over the course of a couple of years, or direct from them, but they don't sell them anymore. So, but what am I going to do? I have them here. I'll pot up the most colorful. I mean, they're all colorful, but I try to line them. You can see the pink there. And I did manage to have one of these, the Wizard Roses that I planted late. This is one of the largest ones and it looked pretty healthy. So I said, you know what, let me get that into a pot. I could have put 2, but I wanted to put just this one and see how it goes. But these are just fantastic. Look at the color on these. It's so early. Again, it's just so early. There's that overwintered Saturn's rings slowly coming back. Still lots of spring and summer growth. And there are the bluebell terranias. We just haven't had a lot of sun. I mean, a couple of days, but I'll put those outside in the direct sun. They really need sun. And there's a, let's pick this up. And here is a fairway mosaic. And I decided just to single pot this one. And these are pretty interesting. And I have a bunch of these. You can see here. I think I grew 50, 75. So some of them are a little larger. We'll get those into pots. Once my next really nice sunny day, I can set up my awning table, get everything out, or a good portion of it out, and start to make up some larger pots. I have so many larger pots too. Not gigantic, not big, but fairly large pots down below, and different size. So I try to offer different size pots at the farmers market, and of course I gotta pot all of these. I may do those today. I may include a few of these, and if I do, I'll include it in this video, which by the time this video's produced and online, I'll already know, and I probably will edit this part out. So anyway, how's that for a mind bend? Okay, so these will pot. We'll pot a few up today, but let's zoom out a little bit here. Okay, just go over some. I did a couple of these small Christmas candies because I noticed they weren't really growing very well in the nursery pot. Not that these pots are much bigger than a nursery pot, but I figured let me get them out of the nursery pot and pot them up, put a little fertilizer in, aerate the soil a little bit, and see how they go. Because I have these plastic pots here, and I figured I got these two. I had these 2 small Christmas candies, so in my mind, let's pot them up. So many prospective coleus that need to be potted. Well, look at the colors. These are just really my favorite. Wizard Rose on the side, on the right, and that's more of like a chocolate covered cherries, but it's really a Kong red, but more of a chocolate covered cherry because it has that real dominant darker red, cherry red. So again, when you grow hundreds of coleus, this is what happens. You'll get just some mutations or what have you, so much to it. Soil, the type of soil you have, the chemistry in the soil, the fertilizer, how much fertilizer you put. Maybe fertilizer you bought has a little more phosphorus, and it just affects the color of the coleus. And again, down here, a lot more. These in general were slow growth. They were always a slow growing coleus anyway. So, which is good in a way. I want to get them potted, but it gives me time to get all these potted up. And by that time, these will be ready to pot. Got some larger mixes, some rootings that I put in. There are some Saturn's rings that I got from seeds, and we're getting them some. I moved them around. They seem to do a little better in the sun, so, or the brightest location, so we put them right over here by the side, which gets a lot of sun. Okay, we're going to keep the wide angle out here. You can see all here, there's some, these need to get potted. These are Kong Reds. Some interesting colors going on. There's all the jades, jade Kongs. The seagulls are coming in off the ocean. Some real interesting variations. These are like a mottled Kong Empire, just a model. I've gotten a few of these last year too. There's another one, kind of like mottled, whatever the word is. You know what I'm trying. It's just kind of mixed up, kind of a rough, more of a rough looking coleus, but interesting. There's another sort of a jitters type. A lot of interesting coleus that I put over here. It's kind of out of the box type of variations. If you bought seeds from me, I included the surprise mix, which I just threw in a whole bunch of different coleus together and mixed them all together. And I can't help but think that some of the genetics from one variation got mixed in with the other seeds, and again, and you get some really interesting stuff. So like this here. So I did grow a bunch of the surprise mix, and I imagine some of these are from that. Very interesting stuff. Unusual. And if you remember, these are, quote, the quote duds, which are, you know, coleus that, you know, these are like an empire, but they've predominant, a lot of green. They're more of a greenery. So again, I kind of mix these in. Maybe I'll do a hanging basket. This one's got a little interesting action going on. I have a little, it's almost sort of like the fairway. It's got a little Christmas. This might have been one of the Christmas candies that didn't quite get there yet, but it's still early. This may grow and just develop clearly into of the Christmas candy. So it's just slow, but you can see the genetics there. But anyway, these are, quote, my duds, as I call them. And again, I'll give these away at the farmer's market. I have the little grab and go $1 a piece tray, and people enjoy that too. And of course up here, so I organize everything as best I can. And type, these are more along the lines of the scarlets. There's some Kong Reds mixed in there, but scarlets are more of the predominant purple with an edge, a green edge, but they may have a little red there. But these are all pretty similar, so I kind of keep myself organized in here. And a lot of these, again, will be in that grab and go. I might put these at $2 a piece, but I do offer just coleus at the farmer's market. Coleus in nursery pots for people if they want to just plant them in the ground themselves. I do offer that too. And this tray's getting a little squashed. I'm gonna have, these are the 2 trays for the American Cancer Society. I have to drop these off at on my neighbor who's part of the fund drive. It's a cancer run in Point Pleasant area, so I have to drop these off and get them out of here, and then we'll have a little more room to put our pots. Okay, so stay tuned. I'm going to shoot a video of me actually potting the coleus, separating them from these pots and how I put them into other pots. And this is the shake and feed fertilizer I use. I'll show you. I'll throw a little bit into the hole before I drop the coleus in the pot. Again, moisture control, Miracle-Gro potting mixture is what I use. The different pots, the shake and feed, just different products that I use over the summer. The insect spray soap, which we'll get into, and also the Miracle-Gro. This is that general purpose plant food that I mix up in here, and I will water, liquid water the plants. I will feed the plants with this liquid fertilizer. This stuff really works good, and I'll use this once they are potted in probably another month or so, and I'll use this every 2 weeks, 10 days or so. There's another product you can use, Bug Hut. It's more like a fish, but I use very, very sparingly because it has a fishy smell. So I don't use it that often. I'll use this for my outdoor plants, my garden, but I don't really use it much on my coleus. A little bit in the small pot, in the small watering can. And here are a few of the hanging tins. I got these on eBay if you're interested. I think they're still on eBay. The only thing I suggest when you get them is the backs come off. Actually, that's if you don't want to hang them, you can just use them as regular pots. But I glued a few of them just so the hangers don't come off, because it's, you know, I've lost a few plants that way. They fell and it was getting annoying, so I just glued a few of them. But here's a couple I did. That's a Kingswood. I believe that's a Kingswood torch. It's got a predominantly, I don't know if it really shows up on the film, it has really more of an orangey overtone rather than a red. So the orange pot. And I got my Jim's Holiest of Coleus sticker. I still have a bunch of those. And there's another little, kind of an interesting thing. I chose these smaller Coleus. They seem to grow smaller and slower. So, and this one here, I'm not sure how this is going to do in this pot. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping it fills out really, really well. And what I'm going to do is make sure I keep these trimmed. These are a little leggy for me, so I'm going to start trimming the top here and try to get some more undergrowth going in. But same thing with these. We'll keep these trimmed because this is a hanging, small, little compact flower pot. So we want to keep them nice and compact. Again, they're metal, so we're not going to keep them in direct sun because they can really overheat the roots. So that's why I try to get plastic pots if I can, but there are some metal pots that I really like, and you know, I predominantly keep most of them in partly sunny areas, not direct sun, where I have to worry about the pots overheating the soil. And some of these small pots, you have to make sure you keep up on the watering. Dig down if you're not sure. Get to know what the weight of your pot is when they're watered well. Don't saturate the soil, but they don't like dry soil. Avoid the dry, completely dry and watered cycle. Try to keep up on your coleus. Get a schedule, routine down. As I will here, I know once the heat sets in when I need to water, and regular watering is how you do it. moderation, light, warmth, moisture, moderation is your best way to go. Okay, so I did manage to finish up these 2 window box planters, and I just know these are going to be fantastic plants, and these will be for sale at the Bayhead Farmers Market in Bayhead, New Jersey, starting July 20th, I believe is the first sale. It's Thursday, every Thursday, Bayhead Farmers Market. It's 85 Bridge Avenue in Bayhead, New Jersey, on the Manasquan Bank lawn. If you want to get your hands on some of these Jim's Holiest of COLEUUUS. Okay, so like I said, I just wanted to get this out to you guys. If you're anticipating, you're on the edge of your seat, waiting to pot your coleus. Should get you started to do a little, but stay tuned again. Once we get, hopefully next week, the middle of next week, I'll get them out on the table, actually set up the tripod, and you can see me potting up the coleus, how to do it. It's not really difficult. It's not rocket science. Elon Musk, no pointers from Elon Musk over here. So, all right, so stay tuned, everybody. More to come. Jim's Holiest of Coleus. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.